Tuesday, February 4th, 2025. Mental health is real. Seek help and the stigma. On the news this morning, NLC suspends protest on telecom tariff hike. President Tinubu signs bill for setup of university in Ogoni, River State. Today is World Cancer Day. On the foreign scene, China tariffs deadline looms as U.S. President Donald Trump agrees reprieves with Canada and Mexico. Details of these and more after this break. Back at Mifichukumoyela with the news. Now, the Nigerian Labour Congress has resolved to suspend the one-day nationwide rally against the proposed 50% tariff increase in the cost of telecom service. The protest was earlier scheduled to be held today. Rising from the meeting called by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, the NLC President Joe Ajaero said Labour agreed to give the government 2 weeks to enable a 10-man joint committee made up of 5 representatives each from the federal government and the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, to conclude and submit its deliberations. Mr. Ajaero emphasized Labour's displeasure at the planned tariff hike as well as the negative impact of the massive tax policy of the government on Nigerians.
We'll put on hold until the outcome of such committee is what will determine our next line of action in terms of protest, in terms of boycott, in terms of even withdrawal of services, which are the 3 issues we put online. But I will equally use this opportunity of this meeting to put in our displeasure on the electricity tariff and the tax that is killing the workers now. The tax regime, which is unbearable.
Describing deliberations as fruitful, Minister of Information Mohammed Idris said both Labour and government delegations agreed to allow a committee set up by the parties to review the study conducted by the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, with a view to drafting an implementable resolution within 2 weeks' time.
We have deliberated at length. Crux of the matter is that there is already a study that was conducted by the NCC that led them to arrive at this 50% increase. Now we are discussing this with Labour. Labour has agreed that they will look at that study, and then a small committee has been set up to look at that study once again and come up with a final resolution for the consideration of government and Labour in about 2 weeks' time.
Earlier, the River State chairman of the NLC, Alex Agonwo, said the protest is only targeted at the office of the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, in the state, and there are no plans to march to the government house.
Government of River State or directed to any the public, the masses. Rather, is a national protest. And you can see we are not even going to the River State government house to terminate the protest. We are going to the NCC head office in River State here. That is where we will be processing to, and we will return back to our secretariats. So the protest is targeted at the NCC offices all over the country, not targeted at any government office anywhere. Apart from, for us, we have been directed to go to the NCC office, register our protest, and return back to the secretariat.
Now, similarly, aggrieved workers of the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, have called off their proposed strike. The industrial action, which was scheduled to start today, would have paralyzed activities in the aviation sector. The affected unions are the National Union of Air Transport Employees, the Association of Nigeria Aviation Professionals, and the Amalgamated Union of Public Corporations, Civil Service Technical and Recreational Services Employees. Vice President of the NLC, Benjamin Anthony, and the General Secretary, National Union of Air Transport Employees, Uchenna Abu, appealed to President Tinubu and the Aviation Minister, Festus Keyamo, to intervene. Moving on now, President Bola Tinubu has signed a bill for the establishment of a Federal University of Environmental Technology in the Ogoni area of Rivers State. It's part of effort to tackle environmental challenges and drive clean energy solutions. Signing the bill at the Presidential Villa, Abuja, on Monday, President Tinubu said it reaffirms the government's commitment to Ogoni people, the Niger Delta region, and Nigerians, while acknowledging the decades of campaigning for environmental restoration in the Ogoni region. President Tinubu commended the Ogoni people for their steadfast and peaceful advocacy for justice.
By signing this bill into law, we are taking a decisive step towards addressing historical grievances and creating new opportunities for learning, growth, and prosperity. The university will serve as a center of excellence, equipping young Nigerians with the knowledge and skill to tackle pressing environmental challenges, drive clean energy solutions, and contribute to our national sustainable economic development.
Now, the president urged stakeholders, traditional institutions, the academic community, and the private sector, as well as partners and all other youth, to embrace this university as a beacon of knowledge, unity, and progress. Right activist Ledun Mite, the Minister of Environment Abbas Lawal, and other top cabinet members witnessed the signing. Recall that on the 21st of January, the president hosted a high-level delegation of Ogoni stakeholders led by Governor Siminalayi Fubara, stakeholders in Ogoni land, River State, including the movement for the survival of the Ogoni people, and traditional rulers, have lauded President Tinubu for signing the bill. In another development, the Tony Okocha-led faction of the APC in River State has challenged Governor Fubara to outline his administration's policy direction in education, agriculture, infrastructure, and housing, among others. Speaking at a media briefing in Port Harcourt, Mr. Okocha claimed that governance in River State has collapsed, with key sectors no longer functioning effectively.
What is the governor's policy in education? The schools we have in the state, they are all death traps. So do we talk about transportation? States have evolved their transportation methodology. And I said to you that I was in Borno, I saw it. In states, as River State, that is known as Garden City, that has turned to Debris City, Garbage City, then there is no government. The reason for these street lights are because when you have street lights, you will be curbing criminality. You will give people opportunity of having to do their business even late in the night because there is light. River State is in the dark.
Mr. Okocha, who also represents River State on the NDDC Management Board, blamed the judiciary for the ongoing political crisis. He said conflicting court rulings are worsening the situation.
The judiciary is the problem in River State. When I say they are the problem, I mean that a court, a judge like you and I, who are not lawyers, are aware that when a matter is before a superior court, you would hands off. The moment it is noted or it is announced to you that this matter is in a court higher than you, you have no other choice. Imagine that a matter in Supreme Court, Court of Appeal, goes to give a judgment on the matter. It's a complete aberration. That's not what the law pretends.
Now, he, however, commended President Bola Tinubu for the appointment of Senator Magnus Abe and Victor Giadom into federal government parastatals and congratulated DFCT Minister Nyesom Wike for his emergence as Arise Television's Best Minister of the Year. Now, reacting to this, the River State Commissioner for Information, Joe Johnson, said Mr. Okocha no longer lives in Port Harcourt and would not know the level of development going on in the various sectors. Mr. Johnson spoke to correspondent Onyeka Chimosu on this.
Well, Tony Okocha is living in the past since he was ousted by the Justice Apriako's judgment. Tony Okocha has not been in Port Harcourt. Otherwise, he should have seen the direction of this government, and they were making inroads in agri, health, education, and other sectors. So to say that the government has collapsed means that it's living in the past.
Now, still to come, gunmen kill chief security officer of stadium. In Port Harcourt, stay with us. The vice chairperson of the Ogbolo local government area in Rivers State, Christiana Tamonobere-Toari, has urged a female politician from the area to stop parading as the vice chairperson of the local government area. Ms. Tamonobere-Toari gave this advice while reacting to reports that a female politician during a program in Port Harcourt addressed herself as a vice chairman of the local government even when she knows her tenure has ended. She told correspondent Obiorware that the real occupant of the office of the vice chairperson never attended a pro-Wike event because she's a firm follower of Governor Siminalayi Fubara.
A known disciple of the governor of Rivers State, His Excellency, Sir Dr. Siminalayi Fubara, and I belong to one of the biggest female political support groups supporting SIM, Rivers Women Unite for SIM. I'm a voice there, and we can vouch for SIM, rooting for SIM. So whoever that is claiming to be the vice chairman of Ogbolo local government area should be seen as an impostor. I cannot belong to a kindergarten group of that nature. I belong to Rivers Women Unite for SIM. We root for SIM. Every day I am a disciple. I carry SIM for head. So
Ms. Tamonobere-Toari, however, questioned the legality of the claims of the former vice chairperson.
The person, the immediate past administration still see themselves as being in the office without allocation, without salary. And the immediate past vice chairman of Ogbolo local government area is Mrs. Eunice Alabo. Okay. So they still see themselves as being in the office with God knows what allocation. So I am the vice chairman of council, the vice chairman with allocation and salary. The reading public and the listening public should know that such person parading till the vice chairman is an impostor and by law should be treated as one. I am the vice chairman of Ogbolo local government area.
Away from that, the Ubie Consultative Assembly in Ahola West local government area has frowned at media reports credited to the Eze Beyalobo III, Eze Kelvin Anugu, which alleged that the Ubie Consultative Assembly is a kangaroo arrangement and described its members as charlatans. Now, they want the monarch to retract such a comment, a statement by its chairperson, Bright Massey, and a member of the board of Host Communities Development Trust, Dr. Sam Chibu, said that its aim is to galvanize the Ubie people to grow their resources, contribute to the education development of the youth, and foster peace and unity in the area. It further disclosed that through misinformation and deliberate distortion of fact, some persons have fueled agitations in Ubie, leading to the stoppage of works at the Total Energies project site. It said the scope of work of the Ubeta gas project never included the building of a gas plant in Ubie, as claimed by some persons. Now, the statement said Total Energies has severally engaged them on the issue of the gas plant and found that the public was misinformed. They however called on all those spreading rumors to stop. Now, gunmen have killed the chief security officer of the Adokie Amesiamaka Stadium in Port Harcourt, Richard Timothy Jaminiwa. He was killed alongside his 23-year-old son, Tola Silas, in his home around Iguruta Alley. His widow, Grace, told correspondent Emekotoka that about 7 gunmen dressed in black attacked her husband as he drove into his home. She said her last son was a fresh graduate of the University of Port Harcourt.
We went out around now to get some things. I was on 30th. So as we are about to enter the house, we called the house and asked my son to open the gate for us. As the boy opened the gate, we were about to enter. We now saw people in black, fully armed, entering with us with the car. They started shooting. Immediately, my husband opened the door. He saw his son among them. Immediately, he opened the door. Then they shot him on the head. Not once, not twice. So by the time I entered back to the house, I met my son, who just graduated for Uniport, ready to go and serve. I met the cops on the floor. The police came that night, took the cops, and they deposited them into the mogul.
Mrs. Jaminiwa described how she was taken into a nearby bush by the gunmen after shooting her husband.
I was able to escape to my backyard. So they came to the backyard and picked me up. They took me out of the compound toward the bush, like 50 meters from the house. That particular time, I have the confidence now. I knew that there's no hope for me again. I called them. I find out from them their problem. Who are they looking for? Who sent them? They told me they did not come for me, the wife, that they come for my husband. They now asked me to bring money. I told them I don't have any money. But along the line, they shot one of their members. For them now to be able to just escape with the one with gunshot, they have to leave me and ask me to go back.
She further said her husband received multiple threats from individuals opposing his stance against the looting of properties at the Adokie Amesiamaka Stadium.
The DPO of a Greater Police Station took him to the house, find out a few things from me, and said they will get back to me. They have been threatening him, and if they go to Greater Police Station, I think they have files there. He has many files of those that have been threatening him, those have been stealing from that stadium. If they go there, at least by the time they will know where and how the case will look like. So that one will even help them. He has been going there to register all those same police stations just because he didn't want them to empty the stadium. At least 1 or 2 occasions around June, July, he arrested 2 people, one from stadium, one from his yard. Nigerians will help me. I don't want my husband to die in vain because he fought for the truth.
Police have not spoken on this. Now, the family of Felix Anoya in Omagwa Community, Gwere Local Government Area, is searching for him after he was taken from his home in the early hours of Sunday by gunmen. His wife, Blessing Anoya, told a correspondent that the 56-year-old was abducted by men dressed in police uniform. She said the incident has been reported to the police.
on Sunday early morning by 2 a.m. I had a very serious knock on my window. I now stood up and peeped, and I saw people with uniform, like police uniform. So they said I should open the door. I now ran away with my son. They now followed the backyard now and pushed the backyard door, entered into the house. They now took my husband away. They did not identify themselves that they are police. I want the public to help me and look for where he is. I want to see him come back in life. They took his phone. Up till now, his number is not going, and they have not called to identify themselves.
Also speaking, Anoya's brother Kingsley Onyewule appealed to security agencies and the public for any information that could help locate him.
What I want from Nigerian police and the public, whomever that knows his whereabouts, should please do well and contact us. Especially Nigerian police should do well and go in search of him. We're really worried, his family members and the wife and children. He's a genuine businessman. He's into hospitality industry. We don't know him for any bad threat of character. So please, we are requesting that Nigerian police is swung into action immediately for his immediate release.
In other news, as the world marks Cancer Day, the Albinism Association of Nigeria has issued an urgent call to action to protect persons with albinism from deadly skin cancer. A statement by the FCT chairman, Rex Erame, said there is an alarming increase in deaths among persons with albinism due to skin cancer, citing lack of access to healthcare services, sunscreen, and protective clothing as major contributing factors. He called for access to affordable healthcare services, distribution of free sunscreen and protective clothing, implementation of public awareness campaigns, and establishment of albinism-friendly policies. The World Cancer Day is an international day marked on 4th February to raise awareness of cancer and to encourage its prevention, detection, and treatment. This year's theme is United by Unique, highlights the value of individualized, patient-centered care in the fight against cancer. We go on a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll wrap up the news. The international scene, U.S. President Donald Trump's planned 10% tariff on China are set to come into effect after midnight in Washington, D.C. This is after proposed 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico due to take effect on Tuesday were paused for a month. President Trump's election campaign included a threat to hit China with 60% levies, citing fentanyl flows into the U.S. as a reason. And that's a wrap on the news this morning. Before we go, let's have a look at the major stories. The NLC has suspended its protest on telecom tariff hike scheduled for today. President Tinubu has signed a bill for the setup of a university in Ogoni, Rivers State. Gunmen have killed the chief security officer of the Adokiya Mesiamaka Stadium in Port Harcourt. Today is World Cancer Day. On the foreign scene, China tariffs deadline is looming as U.S. as U.S. President Donald Trump agreed to pause that of Canada and Mexico. The news was edited by Chioma Eziwafo. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808-721-7215. I'm Ifechukwu Moyele. Many thanks for listening.